Welcome back, everybody, to this episode of Hamilton Icons. I am your host and local real estate agent, Justin Little. Today, I am joined by the one and only Ashleigh, who is the CEO and principal designer of Hilsden Design Co. Ashleigh, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my first podcast ever, so
I'm excited, right? We took a few intros to get to this point, but
couple, third time's a charm.
we got here, right?
Yeah.
But we've had you on Cable 14, which that episode's going to be airing. Actually, be airing before this airs.
Okay.
This will be a couple weeks out,
Couple
but
weeks from now.
yeah.
Oh, I'm excited.
So you're getting some exposure, which is cool, all the media stuff now, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's good to get comfortable with that stuff. I feel like, especially when you're like an entrepreneur in your own business,
Yeah.
you gotta do the things that make you
Gotta break
uncomfortable.
the ice. Just get in there.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Just gotta start doing it. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your business. If you want to give me a quick breakdown of what it is you do.
Yeah. Well, when I start, like where it came from or why I got into design, I'll take it all the way back. As far as I can remember, I, had a high imagination. I was always into anything creative. I remember as a little girl, I used to keep a little journal or a diary, if you will, and I used to, lay out concepts for rooms. I remember laying out something like a jungle theme or like a princess theme, and I would like write it down. So that was sort of an early sign that like this is the direction I might take. Fast forward a little bit, I was also a competitive dancer, so again, something that's like free flowing, artistic vibes. Um, I always remember my list of what I wanted to be when I grew up, dancer, singer, artist, actress, and then randomly a doctor. So anyways, definitely heavily on the creative, artistic side of things. Fast forward again into high school, I was again very into the, art class, excelled there. Also ran the fashion show for my high school as well with a couple other girls. So then it sort of just lent itself to, me heading into interior design into college. Went to Sheridan, so a highly acclaimed school for arts and design. It was 3 years I didn't sleep, which was, which was good in a sense. What I found with being in college and at Sheridan was all those nights I didn't sleep was also because, I got into sort of a flow state with my projects, which was also a sign for me that it is something I love to do. I think that anyone that does get into that sort of flow state where there's no like concept of time and like all the all-nighters I did, it's just means I was really into what I was doing. So that kind of got me excited to get into the field after that. Um, yeah, and then I guess I'll go right into I don't know if I'm rambling too much,
Oh,
but
it's good. Like I'm thinking, well, everybody else was, they were playing with Barbies. You were designing Barbies.
oh, well, don't
Sure.
don't get me wrong, I was definitely playing with Barbies for sure.
Yeah. That's interesting. And you
Thanks.
talk about the flow state, which I think is something, I've never heard it put like that before, but it's a very
Mhm.
true concept
Yeah,
where even I find myself, if I'm working on something
yeah,
in my business that I'm really excited about,
yeah,
it almost doesn't, I don't care what time it is or what's going on. I'm just working on it till it's done because I'm so excited about it.
yeah, and it doesn't feel like work anymore, and I think that really shows you that you're doing what you're meant to do as, like, a soul and as a person on this planet, is that you get into that state of mind. I'd personally like to get there more often, but I do with my work, so yeah.
Nice. So what do you focus on primarily? Residential, commercial? Do you do both?
Yeah, so mostly residential, I would say, is where my passion is at. I have done a bit of commercial. I did a women's retail store once, 5+ years ago now. I've also always dreamed of doing restaurants. I thought that would be really cool. Again, you can kind of pick a really like a theme and run with it in those situations. Um, but yeah, so more heavily residential at this time. Yeah.
That's exciting. How many years you been doing it now for?
Oh my God. It's gonna age me, but yeah, 14-ish.
We can lie.
14-ish years. So I started off getting into working for someone else for about 5 years, so kitchen and bath design. Um, and that sort of taught me, more technical aspects of custom millwork, custom cabinetry, stone countertops, and also plumbing. which I thought was, a really good place to start and taught me more the technical side of things. And yeah, I mean, I liked working for someone else. It's obviously a great learning experience, and you get to learn from how other people operate their business, the things they do well, the things that maybe aren't going so well. So I definitely was taking pointers, the whole way along. And then 5 years in or so, my partner of mine and we started a company called RAHB, and it was a design and renovation company. He was the construction side, I was the designer side. That was always like a dream of mine, obviously watching, HGTV, and it's still a dream of mine to maybe get there one day, have that dynamic. So that was really cool. It also gave me a taste of autonomy and, the entrepreneur lifestyle and just being able to, uh, you know, basically take your ideas and mold this little business like it's like your child basically, and you get to build your own dream as opposed to building someone else's, which kind of just opened up my eyes, and it was a whole different world for me. And I realized like that's the direction I want to take. And then that lasted about like 3 or 4 years. Unfortunately, the partnership itself, it did well, but it ended up not doing well just on a personal level. So the business sort of went in a different direction. I ended up working for someone else again for a few years. And again, realized my heart and soul is definitely in entrepreneurship. So I started this business, Hilsden Design Company, about five years ago now. And it's just a whole other level of being my own thing, right? So not having a partner because that creates its own, challenges. And yeah, so sole proprietor now
Yeah.
and loving it. Yeah.
I had partners in real estate for quite a few years.
Mm,
And then eventually, obviously, in the last couple of years, broke off to do my own thing because there's something empowering about being able to do it all yourself. But then
yeah.
also, when it sounds like you're kind of like me, like when you get the creative bug or you want to go in a certain direction with something, you want to just do it,
Yeah. Yeah. You don't
right?
have to.
You don't have to clear it with people or get everybody
Right.
on board or sell them on it. You just make the decision and you go.
Yeah.
Right? I find that can actually make you more successful because then you're more passionate and excited about what it is that you're actually
Yeah.
doing.
You're not compromising yourself in any way in that way. So, yeah, I'm happy I went that direction and I will continue to do so. With that said, I do still love collaborating with people. So I have hired on, people over the years and other designers that I can, sit down, collaborate with, bounce ideas off of. Um, and then, yeah, obviously with scaling business, I've gotten to the point where I'm sort of more, I obviously do the design and have the creative element, but more overseeing the work being done, and then that way I can scale and move things forward a little bit. Still working on that part, but
You'll get there, right?
yeah.
But it is exciting. And so one thing that you said earlier too that caught my attention was when you're talking about doing the kitchens and bathrooms with the other company,
Yeah.
how you got to learn the technical aspects of
Yes.
it. I
Yeah.
feel like that's so important because a lot of time designers come
Yeah.
from the like this would be like let's do this and
Yeah.
crazy stuff, but not taking into consideration
Yeah.
what actually needs to happen to make that become a reality.
Yes, yeah, and I feel like, I mean, a lot of people have the concept of design world as more like the decor end of things. And ironically, I only started dabbling, well, not dabbling, but really getting into the decor stuff, I would say like 4 or 5 years ago. Before that, it was much more, technical stuff, which is, like I said, a good place to start from. You have that sort of basis, and then you can be more creative and add your flair to it on the decor end of things. But there's a lot of, also with construction, obviously, there's structural details and a lot of, technical stuff along the way. So, yeah.
Well, going even to that project that you were doing in Mississauga, there was a lot of stuff technically that you were it was
Mhm.
funny because we interviewed the kitchen guy too, and he
Yeah.
was going through it, but then you were there as well being like, "Oh, don't forget this, don't forget,"
Yeah, yeah.
because you're so but that just shows how engaged you are in it, right?
Yeah.
How important the little
Oh,
details are.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very, very heavily detailed industry, and, um, yeah, even just within millwork itself, there's just endless, intricacies to it and details that you can't miss. I mean, I design the kitchen, and I brought in Dom from Pivot Kitchens to, implement the project for us. But yeah, all the, the accessories and inserts and hidden things that you don't really know until you sort of open up cabinetry and just talk about it and discuss it. So, yeah.
Since doing that project, there was one design feature that you did that I've just been dreaming about since, and it was the heated bench seat in the shower.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I go home now, when I sit on the bench seat in my shower, I'm actually a little annoyed that it's cold.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I know, right? That's goals for me too for my own home one day.
It's the things you don't know you needed until you hear that it exists, and then you're thinking,
Even
"Oh,
backrest heated too.
yeah,
Everything heated.
yeah, that's an incredible
And
project."
yeah, and there's also a lot of cool lighting aspects that we're putting into this project, which I'm excited about. So like toe kick lighting, niche lighting, lighting underneath, overhang on the island in the kitchen. I find I've gotten into that more in the last few years, and the effects the lighting alone can have in spaces, I think is really cool.
It's so true. You're right about lighting, because I somehow went down an Instagram rabbit hole of never turning on your overhead lights, like, you're
Yeah.
like, getting the mood just with lighting in
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
What a huge difference,
Yeah.
especially when it gets dark earlier.
Yep, and there's different, warmths and, of lighting too, right?
Mm.
So you can have cold lighting, warm lighting, somewhere in between. Put everything on dimmers for sure. Then you have accent lighting, and depending on your mood or what time of day it is, like you said, you can change it, and it really, really changes the a mood of a space. So yeah, and that's just one part of design.
Yeah,
So many parts.
there's so many. Speaking of the parts of it, what's your favorite part
Mm.
of the design process of
That's
what you
good,
do?
okay.
Yeah.
Favorite part of what I do in general? Sorry.
Yeah, like, what excites you so much about your business? Like, what's some of the favorite things within your business?
Um, honestly, there's so many parts of it that I love. I would say like the bigger picture of why I do what I do is I really enjoy impacting people, and how they live their life. So obviously from the aesthetics of their space and how it makes them feel, but also the functionality, um, and going hand in hand with that and making it something that they love. And, the big reveal, obviously, when they get to see it all come together, all the hard work and the expertise and everything. And, depending on the size of the project, the many months, that goes into making that happen. It's just really rewarding when you see the look on their face, like, wow, like I get to live here. Like, so yeah, impacting people's lives, I would say, is the coolest part. It's also something I'm trying to dive more into, even more into now, is like impacting even the community and bigger picture. I just wanna have it like, of course, design means so much to me, but I just want a bigger picture impact on the world too. So, for example, we're recently, contributing to Habitat for Humanity for with proceeds from the business. Um, Again, that's something close to my heart, is helping, homeless people or people that are just less fortunate. So that's sort of a next, like, thing moving forward, is to help bigger picture. So,
That's
but
really cool.
yeah.
Using the funds from people with houses to help support people that don't have houses. I like that.
Yeah.
So,
Mirrors itself in a way.
yeah, that's a
Yeah.
really cool concept.
Yeah.
And you're right. You're fortunate to have that type of service-based business where you see something from the start dramatically change, and then you see the finish of it, right?
Yeah.
See people's reactions.
Yeah, yeah, and have, close hand on every single part of, like, the process too, so
Hmm.
yeah.
I find the people that I interview, the ones that are like very successful, all are very similar to you in a sense that they love working with people. And
Yeah.
I think that that's something that you need to have as a
Yeah.
skill to really, especially in the service business.
Mhm.
If you're just doing it just to, I mean, obviously it can be a lucrative business, but if you're
Yeah.
focusing on that
Yeah,
as opposed to just enjoying
yeah,
working with, like, you have to enjoy it.
and I'm
Helps
not
you
g
excel.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie, there were a few years there where I did it. I was focused a little bit more on, like, the lucrative aspect of it, and I definitely lost a little bit of passion in it, and I was like, "Okay, no." It really helped me refocus. I'm like, "Listen, I I need to do this for why I came into this, and what means more to me than just, money or."
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yeah. What are some of the challenges you're facing in your business?
Oh my gosh. Ooh, where do
Like
I
challenge
start?
part.
I mean, over the years, though, I would say one of the biggest things that comes to mind is so as much as I enjoy, doing this for people, working with people is also challenging. Something about me is that I've always been a little bit too trusting and of people in general. So, I think I need to be a little bit more discerning, especially with people that I work with. I've yeah, run into some problems there, with contractors and things, that people that sort of make themselves look to be a certain way, and can talk a big game and look good on paper, but when it comes down to it, maybe not as reliable as I would have liked them to be, that kind of thing. And unfortunately, any mistake really that happens under my projects, reflects on me, right? And that goes for any entrepreneur, I guess, in any business. So, anyways, I've learned, yeah, moving forward to be a little bit more discerning, use my intuition a little bit more. I think that's all you can do. So that's been a challenge of mine, but with every, again, every small business, every entrepreneur, I think you have to fail forward to a certain degree. Um, and like, fail or make mistakes, learn from them, move on. And sometimes you don't really you don't know them until you actually go through them, right? Or really understand the weight of them. Um, yeah, so
Yeah, you can read about it all day long,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you actually experience it
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah, you gotta feel, the ouch. You're like, "Oh, that wasn't good for this reason, this reason, this reason," and, but then you just sort of you pivot and you gotta learn from your mistakes and move
Yeah.
forward, so
I
yeah.
could see that working with contractors being a difficult part because
Yeah.
honestly, it is difficult to find reliable contractors. It is hard, right? And
Yeah.
when you find good ones, you want to like hang on to them
Yeah.
like crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because yeah, I use a lot of trades in my business too,
Yeah.
referrals and stuff. And it took me years and years to find people that I knew that, okay, I can trust this person. If I give them to a client,
Yeah.
they're not going to not show up. Because
Exactly.
ultimately, even more so for you, it reflects on you
Yeah.
because they're the people that are actually doing your vision.
Yeah.
You're kinda leading the project,
Exactly.
and they're fulfilling it, so I can
Yeah.
see how that could be
Yeah, they're the hands-on people making it come to life, right? And yeah, this whole industry is heavily based on trust, and this is a lot of people's, one of their biggest investments, in their lives is renovating their home, well, their home in general, and then, updating and renovating it. So, yeah, it's a lot on my shoulders. Yeah, so I've definitely found, quite a few people that I work well with, and it's also, yeah, a game of working, just, jiving with people that you work with too, not just the trust element, but um, being in an environment where you can bring that vision to life and again collaborate and make the most of what you're doing. So
Mhm.
yeah.
No, that's a good point. I wanna talk about something too, just design, because 'cause I'm curious, I wanna pick your brain
Okay.
about this. What's going out with kitchens? Like, design, like, what's something that's been trendy? I know people talking about grays going away,
Yeah.
but, like, what's a trendy thing that we were seeing for so long that's starting to go away, and what's coming in?
hmm So coming in, I would say, is more like English styled kitchens, where pieces look more like furniture. So, like for example, the island is gonna well, all the cabinetry, is gonna have more details to it, especially like the island will have like legs and look like a furniture piece that you brought in, and then the toe cake on the rest of the kitchen is gonna have more details and maybe scalloped edges or art, more details within the kitchen. So yeah, and then making it just more like open, so like open shelving and little hooks for things and less just like totally enclosed cabinetry. I would say is like sort of the next generation of designs in kitchens. Yeah, like you said, away from whites and grays, thank goodness. And like, can't look at another white kitchen with a subway tile. Like, I will literally stop. um, so yeah, and woods coming back, which is nice. Like different species of woods too, not just one. Dealt with a lot of maple. Not to say maple's going anywhere, but with more like character. So walnuts, oak has been a thing for a little while now too. Um, our Mississauga job has a lot of oak cabinetry, which I'm excited to showcase. Yeah, with different stains, so like lights and darks and some rich colors in there too. And then if we are doing like neutrals, it's going to be more of like an off warm white or warm grays. But also lots of like more colors, so greens and blues and yeah, just more life, I would say.
I like the colors coming back. I love color. I love the greens. Like huge on that.
Yeah.
Didn't you used to do a kitchen or was it blue? I saw it.
It's a little bit it's like a blue-green combination, yeah. Yeah, so that was in Hamilton, yeah.
So I didn't know that was called, like, when you were talking about the kitchen, this is more English style kitchen. So that just means kind of more detail within the
Exactly, yeah.
kitchen and then making some pieces look like they're furniture as opposed to fixed.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's
So,
cool.
yeah, I'm excited to do some more of those kinds of kitchens moving forward.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you will, right?
Yeah.
So you've been doing this for a while now. I
Mhm.
always like to ask the question, and you got this one ahead of time. So normally I don't send it ahead of time
No?
because I like to see what people come up with on the spot.
Yeah.
What if you had to go back and give yourself advice when you were first starting out?
Mhm.
What would you tell little Ashley starting in this business?
Um, I would say give myself, grace along the way. I think, I'm probably not the only one, that sort of compares themselves to everyone else in the industry. Also, starting from scratch, it's, oh my gosh, so overwhelming. It's like, where do you start? You look around and everyone like looks so polished and experienced, and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I mean, I'm speaking to myself still. It's like, I mean, especially with social media and everything, everyone has their polished, finished product out there, and you're comparing all your flaws and your process along the way. And so I would just remind myself and tell myself that it is a process, and it's almost a lifelong process. I'm still learning, every day, how to be better at what I do and how to be better in business in general. So yeah, just patience and grace,
Yeah.
I would say.
Well, it's good advice, and you're right. I always think of the line like comparison is the thief of joy because you could be doing so well, but then you compare yourself, right? And then also, if you're comparing yourself in year one to somebody that's in year 15 or 20, it's hard because, like you said, they might be more refined or polished, or
Yeah.
even sometimes I feel like we think they are because of the image that's out there.
I was
Like,
just gonna say there's so much smoke and mirrors,
yeah,
in the world in general, but definitely in any aesthetic business like this, people want to look like perfect, right? So yeah, just reminding yourself that everyone's human and no one is perfect, and yeah.
yeah, social media is huge for the smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of,
Yeah.
but I mean, that's the good thing for people in business. They can use it to leverage themselves to look like they're maybe
Yeah,
more than they are, and it helps them get more business.
for sure, for sure.
But then a lot of it, you don't know how much is actually true or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So just reminding yourself of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, you're doing good. Like I said, I like your social media. I like what you've been posting lately.
Thank
So it's all
you.
good stuff.
Thank you. I am trying to dive, the thing is also working with people, is of course it's their home and they want to come and bring their own ideas and stuff. So I'm just hoping moving forward I can be dive even more into my, my signature sort of design aesthetic and then eventually have people come to me for that, as opposed to, just catering towards anyone else's, direction on design. So that's future goals.
I like it. So do you have a vision in your head of what your design aesthetic is? Do you know what it is that you do that you're like, this is Ashley?
Yeah, it's hard to sort of describe per se, but like high end residential. I love anything obviously creative. I don't know, for example, things like hidden doorways and unique little aspects in design where it's like kind of a wow factor. I want to incorporate more of that where it's like things that you don't see often and yeah, people sort of just be like, wow, that's so cool. Like I want that in my home. Like that's sort of just an element of design that I want to, grow on.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So it won't be, it's not gonna be white kitchens and subway tile. That's not the Ashley design. I like it. The little hidden doors and stuff. And you're right, doing more higher end allows you to have room to kind of do that creativity.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? So you got to build your way up to that, I guess.
Yeah. And then you'll get it there. And then when realtors are selling houses that were designed by you, they'll be sure to mention it because they'll be like, oh, you know, this was done by her.
That's right.
Because you know what? Some people do care about it, right? Especially in those higher end markets. Like when you get into
Yeah,
Burlington or you get into Oakville, like architects really matter, designers really matter.
yeah, yeah.
So would you go, I know you don't really focus too much on like the decor aspect of it. Would you go through and do like a total home design from floor plans? Like, would you ever do something like that?
Absolutely. I mean, so I said I haven't or hadn't focused on that too much, but in the last 5 years, I have definitely dived more into that. For example, we did a project, actually, it was a Bangladesh vacation home for one of our clients. They came to us, they live in Toronto, North York, but they're from Bangladesh, and they were building a 4-story building, there, and they, brought us on to do 2 of the floors, which is around 4,000 square feet. And they had, the CAD plans and sent it our way, and then we kinda took it from there. We brought it to life in our own, design platforms, took the plans, brought it into 3D renderings. We also sourced all the decor for that. So, um yeah, definitely a unique project, something I would love to do more of. But yeah, everything from, area rugs to lighting to couches to beds, every little detail we sourced out. We actually had storage units that we kept all the, pieces here, and then we shipped it off to Bangladesh. And it's a long story, but that one's taking a while to come together. Apparently, construction's quite slow over there. So they've assured me they're gonna be sending me some photos, or I'll be getting some photos of that project eventually, but that'll be cool to see. And then, yeah, we've done lots of other full home or, like, full main floor or, just decor projects where we do the similar kind of thing, so
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's cool you took a private I love, like, a Bangladesh vacation home.
I know.
And then, but that's crazy to work on a project sort of at that scale.
Yeah.
Yes, I could see how that could be exciting because then you're not just with the design aspects, but also
Yeah.
the furniture, like, right to the end, right?
Yes, yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, that's the other thing, like, say we start with just the, or we just do, I don't know, the floor plans for them, and then the client takes it from there. It's not necessarily brought to life the way we would do it. So, when we have the chance to do it from start to finish, that is more of a reflection of who we are as a business, and, what we can do and what's possible. Um,
Nice.
yeah.
So where do you see things going? Where do you want to go down the road?
Yeah.
What's your vision for the company?
Yes, that's where I was gonna go with that. I mean, that inspired me, and it's something I've always wanted to do, is design more things across the globe. I think that's always neat, Um, being inspired by the unique culture, or place that home is in. Um, that's what I love about creativity, is that it's like sort of endless opportunities and like endless places you can pull inspiration from, and like no 2 days are the same, or no 2 projects have to be the same. You can implement different unique aspects into it. So yeah, I'm not like looking towards the end of my career thinking it's all going to be, you know, same in day out. So
Mm,
I think that's exciting. So yeah, I would love, I do have big dreams. We'll see how far I can take it. I would love to be on a TV show one day. Who knows? I did meet Scott McGilvery in Vegas with all my girlfriends, so
there you
she'd be like, "Hey, Scott, hook me up."
go.
We'll see, but I gotta get to a certain level first.
You got it. No, you
Like,
go.
go,
Just go for
just
it.
go for
Just
it.
go.
Fake it
Come
till you make it, right?
That's it.
So
Like, I'm doing the cable 14 thing. For me, it was always been like a stepping stone
yeah,
just to do it, experience it,
yeah,
and then see what I can do above that, right?
right, for
Not
sure.
till you try,
That's true,
right?
that's true, and you just gotta, yeah, network, talk to people, see what's possible. That's how people, get ahead, I guess, and get places in life. So, um, and even, I don't know, like a showroom would be really cool too. But again, just being able to afford that and
Yeah.
manage that. Brick and mortar isn't something I need at the moment, but yeah, down the
One
road.
step at a time, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It's exciting.
yeah.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come here and be on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
All your information is going to be in the description below, but what's the best way for somebody to get a hold of you? Just social media, your website?
Yeah, I would say my website. There's a submit, form on the end there. You can, if it's a project that you're looking to do, you can email us that way. So, I mean, our email is info@hilsdendesignco.com, or it's Hilsden Design Co. on Instagram.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Ashley.
Thanks, Justin.
Thank all of you for watching again this week. If you liked what you heard today, you can click the video. It's going to pop up on your screen. It's last week's episode. You can enjoy that one as well. Until next time, we'll talk to you again.